now. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christine Pham, Program Manager of the Small Business Development Department. Thank you all for being here today for all newcomers and those that have come back. As you may have known, this event has been going on for 5-6 years now, since 2015. It's been growing year after year, and our objective is to have our industry's leaders, prime contractors, concessionaires, business support services, public agencies, and airport departments to share their knowledge for networking to occur and for businesses to grow and for them to be elevated in order to be successful. Today, we have Jack Ward and Joshua Covell from the Acquire Home program, and they will be going over details on this very, very exciting federal program that we always want to spread the word about. With that being said, I want to turn it over to Joshua and Jack Ward. Please introduce yourselves. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Christine. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joshua Covell. I'm one of the construction managers with the Acquire Home program. I also have on this call Jack Ward, another one of our construction managers, who will be helping me throughout this presentation. And towards the end of the presentation, we'll be helping to field any questions you might have about our program. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kick off this presentation here. There we go. So I'm going to start off with just a quick overview of our program. First thing I'd like to start off with is what the goal of the Acquire Home program is. So the goal of the Acquire Home program is to reduce interior noise level within treated homes by at least 5 decibel levels in the areas most affected by aircraft noise. This includes residential properties that are within the 65 decibel contour around the airport that have an average interior noise level of about 45 decibels or greater. So in order to achieve the sound attenuation, what we do is we primarily retrofit homes with new acoustical windows and doors, and by also having optional standalone ventilation or air conditioning systems for eligible properties. To date, the Acquire Home program has treated over 4,500 homes on both the east and west sides of the airport within that 65 decibel contour. So some general info about the way our contracts go. Firstly, we typically aim to create project groups that have a total contract value of about $1.2 million. These project groups will either consist of entirely historical properties or non-historic properties. But because we build our groups to achieve the specific contract value, there's no typical size for that project group. The size of the group can range from anywhere between 10 large historic units, anywhere up to 60 non-historic units on several different multifamily properties. Typically, our contracts durations last anywhere between 200 to 350 calendar days from that day that we issue the notice to proceed all the way up through to closeout. With all that being said, we are constantly advertising new projects about every 2 months, with our next project coming out to advertise on November 5th on Planet Bids. And so we are hoping that throughout this presentation, you guys do become interested and do hope that we can get a little bit more interest and more bids for our next few projects. So next thing I want to start going over, there we go, is just kind of a general overview of the treatments that we do offer and kind of the work that we do on these units. So starting with non-historic properties, as I mentioned before, we primarily treat both windows and doors in order to provide that sound attenuation, but we also offer mechanical systems as well. Windows for the non-historic properties are going to be vinyl windows with 4 sashes, as you can see pictured here on the left. There in the middle, you can see an example of one of the styles of doors. It's a wood flush door that's acoustically treated in order to reduce that interior noise. But there are several different styles and options that homeowners are able to select for those different types of doors. And then finally, on the right-hand side, you can see an example of the exterior portion of the mechanical system that we offer for air conditioning. So for single-family homes and for condos, they're eligible to receive either a ventilation unit or an air conditioning unit that you can see here. Through our program, we are not not allowed to do anything with heat. We do not install heat. We do not integrate any of our systems with existing heat systems or ventilation systems. It's a completely standalone system with its own ducts and electrical work all provided within the system. Multifamily homes, on the other hand, are only eligible for the ventilator, which is not pictured here. They are not able to get that air conditioning unit. That's only available for those single family homes and those condos. Next, we're going to go over a quick overview for the historic homes. So again, like I said, we treat both non-historic and historic properties. For historic properties, it's a little bit more unique, whereas for windows, it's not just a straight up vinyl window. We do offer either wood or historic aluminum, and then the windows must match that existing operation and style. So it's a little bit more in depth with the window installation for historic homes. Same goes for the doors. Often, if they have a solid wood front door, they will remain in place with just minor modifications such as weather stripping. Other types of doors, such as French doors, as you can see pictured here, will be retrofitted with our acoustic doors and windows to match that, again, existing style and operation in order to maintain that historical integrity of the property. And then again, same thing with mechanical systems. Historic properties can also be eligible to receive mechanical, either in the form of air conditioning unit, as you can see here, or if they are a multifamily, that ventilator. And then this slide here is just some contact information that we have for here. If you want to get more information or have more questions, you can see our link to our website here. I've also got my phone number as well as Jack's phone number listed on here and our email. If you guys have any questions that we cannot answer here today, or if you want to look into some more information about the program. That's all I have for now. Jack, did you have anything that you would like to add?
I'd just like to add, if you are interested, feel free to give us a call anytime. We'll walk you through the program in its entirety, ask any questions that you have. We'd really like to encourage contractors to participate in our program. So we're looking forward to hearing from anybody that's interested in becoming part of it.
Thank you, Jack. And I think with that, we're ready to open it up for any questions that anybody might have.
So it doesn't look like we have any questions on the queue on the chat room. So, but I do have some questions that you have provided us with the most frequently asked questions. So I'm going to start with a few, and maybe you could enhance and answer them. How many units are included in your typical bid package of 1.2, I think, million you said?
Well, like Josh stated, depending on if it's a historical group or a non-historical group, and depending on if they're single family or multifamily, they could range from 10 single family homes that are pretty extensive. If you're familiar with some of the homes here in the Point Loma Portal area, we got some pretty big historical homes here. But then they can also be condo units that could go up to 50, sometimes 60 multifamily units. So it's a pretty good spread, but the valuation of each contract usually stays right about the 1.2 million.
Great, thank you. Is certified payroll a requirement for your projects?
Would you like to take that one, Josh?
Yeah. So certified payroll, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, but yes, it is a requirement for all of our contracts.
Great.
So to elaborate on that a little bit, certified payroll will have to be submitted with every pay application, and we track that pretty closely to make sure the contractors are hitting all the requirements as far as certified payroll goes.
Since we're in that topic of submissions or submitting, how are pay applications processed?
Typically, before COVID started, we were usually we would get a pencil app from the contractor. We would vet that app and before they actually submit their pay app. So we don't have any corrections to it once it's submitted. It goes through a accounting process. And I think at one point we were hitting paying contractors within a couple weeks, but due to COVID, it slowed down to 30 days net. But you should be able to submit and get your payment within the 30 days.
Great. That's excellent for the small businesses that need to get paid within the 30-day period. Okay, so I do have a question in the chat. And the question is, what is the 1.2 million valuation? I'm not sure if they're asking valuation meaning how many units for 1.2 million. So maybe Robert, can you clarify? We'll wait for his clarification. In the meantime, let's see, our change orders, how many change orders or how are change orders processed with your program?
You want to answer that one, Josh?
Yeah, sure. So typically what we try to do with each project group is we try to consolidate all changes of scope of work and consolidate them down into 2 different change orders. One that is FAA reimbursable, and then another one that is non-FAA reimbursable items. For those FAA reimbursable items, obviously those would be paid out by the FAA, and then for anything else that is non-FAA reimbursable, that would be items that would be paid out by the airport authority.
So just to elaborate on that a little bit, Maria, the change order process, we usually try to vet out all change orders on what we call FMB visits. That's when the contractor visits the residences for ordering purposes. That's when we find any changes that may need to be made to the design for each residence. Then those are submitted via RFI and answered. And if the change order is needed, contractor submits what's called a request for change order. That's then processed with each pay app every month as they come available. Normally, we don't have a lot of change orders in our groups. And just to streamline the process, a lot of times we'll wait till towards the end of the group just to be able to create 1 change order or 2 change orders to complete the process. Like Josh said, one would be FAA reimbursable, the other wouldn't. But it kind of streamlines what we do as far as having to do paperwork over and over again. We like to keep it as simple as possible.
Great. So Robert has clarified his question. So he was just trying to figure out what the 1.2 million was about. He said he heard Jack mention it. And so he wasn't sure if it was a single family or multiple family projects. So maybe just kind of go over that to clarify how you put your packages together.
So the valuation is, when we do our forecasting, we try to hit 1.2 million, whether it's multifamily, single family, or a condo project. And we build in enough units of the individual types to reach that valuation, if that's what he's asking.
Right, and I think that's what it is. So moving forward, let's go and say, what is the quality assurance and quality control process?
So each contractor's required to run their own quality assurance, quality control process as their superintendent sees fit. But in-house, what we do is we have a on-site inspector who will visit the residents every day of construction. They'll accept the work for the homeowner and for the airport. They're the ones that test everything. They test every window, every door, inspect for finishes, very thorough inspection process. And that's how we make sure that the product we put out, the end product that we put out, is up to industry standards.
Great, thank you for that information. What are the safety requirements on the job site, especially right now that we're going through COVID? So I'm assuming it's probably different now than it was before.
Somewhat. I mean, we follow all the federal, state, county, local mandates as far as COVID is concerned. You know, our contractors, you know, do periodic cleaning on their equipment. They wear masks, they wear gloves. They take their temperatures on a daily basis at their warehouse before they come to our job sites. And then as far as standard safety procedures, the contractor is required to submit a site-specific safety program for approval when they do their submittals for the contract. And if they do not, they're required to use the airport's safety program and all the requirements that it entails if they don't submit a program of their own that's approved. And we monitor that, meaning we have program coordinators and inspectors who are out in the field quite frequently. And if we see any unsafe actions, we'll stop work immediately.
Great. So it sounds like it's pretty safe to continue working with your group during this COVID times.
Absolutely. I mean, we've really gone above and beyond. We've changed a lot of our meetings to virtual, just like this one. There are quite a few meetings that homeowners are required to attend, and actual construction, all the precautions are taken. And at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, we had some homeowners that were hesitant, but now in the groups that we're into now, we're getting 100% participation. So we're doing pretty good as far as COVID goes and taking the precautions that need to be taken.
Great, thank you, Jack. I do have a question on the chat room. What a fascinating project. Have there been indication from the public that validates education on the airport role versus the FAA and the airlines?
Can you repeat that, Maria? I didn't quite understand it.
He's asking, has there been indications from the public that validates education on the airport's role versus FAA, which controls the flight routes, and the airlines that should follow those guidelines?
So I don't understand what they're asking when they say education. Can they clarify that, please?
Sure. Let's see. John, can you do us a favor and clarify a little bit more on what your question is? And in the meantime, we'll answer another one of your questions. Okay. What is the typical process when closing out individual units?
So as I mentioned before, when closing out an individual unit, for the contractor, our inspector will create a punch list just like any traditional project. The contractor will complete that punch list, and then the inspector will accept that on behalf of the homeowner and the airport. But then another step that we take is a meeting at the end of the project with the homeowner where we'll hand over warranty documents and go over any last minute concerns. And if there's anything that the homeowner brings up that our inspector feels needs to be addressed and it's a legitimate item, we may ask the contractor to go back to complete that item. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes there's a little small thing that may get missed and we do have to return. But for the most part, the end of the process for the contractor is submitting the warranty package at the end of the project, or not the end of the project, at the end of each individual unit within 10 days. And then that's the package that we present to the owner when we do that final meeting.
Great, thank you, Jack. something that kind of curious about is that, does the contractor have a typical client-contractor relationship with the homeowner at any time?
No, in fact, we have what are called program coordinators, and we like them to stay the point of contact for the homeowner and the contractor and everyone else involved in that individual home's construction and project. We found that one point of contact works the best because then we can get the right answer from the right person. We don't have misinformation, being distributed, not intentionally, but it does happen. And through all the years of working with the program, we've come to the determination that that one point of contact is a necessity in making sure everything runs smoothly. So what would happen typically is if a homeowner has questions for the contractor, they'll submit them to the program coordinator, and the program coordinator will just be the go-between between the contractor and the homeowner.
Okay, so it sounds like the homeowner never really has any contact with the contractors.
Occasionally when the superintendents are on site, they'll ask some minor questions, but anything that actually concerns any kind of construction change or construction request a homeowner may have absolutely goes through the coordinator.
So if the contractor damages the homeowner's flooring or something to that effect, do they go through your coordinator or they go through the contractor?
They go through, well, it's a two-step process, really. They go through the coordinator initially. And what happens at the beginning of each residence's construction, our inspector will go in and take photographs of existing conditions before the contractor even enters. So at times, we have to go back to those photographs to confirm whether something was actually there before the contractor was there. So we help the contractor and the homeowner in that respect. But if there is some actual damage, it actually transfers to the contractor, and the contractor and the homeowner figure out how to mitigate that damage. Doesn't happen often. A lot of times if it's a scratch floor or something, the contractor will just go in and do the repair, and we'll be involved in that. But anything further than that, the contractors are fully insured, and the homeowners deal with them accordingly in that manner.
Great, thank you. Now, the most important thing, how do people apply for this program? How does the homeowner learn about this service?
So if you go on the San Diego Airport website and look for the Quieter Home Program, click the link that'll take you to our page, and there's complete instructions there on how to apply for the program. And if you can't find it and you have any problems, you can give myself or Josh a call, and we'll make sure you get where you need to be in order to apply or to actually bid on some of this work, which we'd really love to see some new contractors do.
Great. So to clarify the question that was asked earlier, it was focused on aircraft noise due to the flight routes and the data that you gather through the noise department. So I guess what they want to know is how do we manage the routes and the flight noise that comes through our airport?
Actually, the Quieter Home Program has no control over managing routes. I mean, we're actually just a construction program for the airport. That question would have to be directed to another department, possibly noise mitigation department, which is a sister department of the Quieter Home Program. But I don't have an answer for the question as far as how the FAA or the airport determine which routes airplanes use.
Maria, this is Jana. Good afternoon. Thank you. I just sent John a message giving him my email address, and I'm happy to answer those questions. But the answer is yes, all caps. and would take much longer than this dedicated session. So I'll reach out with him.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Shauna.
And then regarding the question about how do homeowners learn, they're also asking, is there any marketing of this program, or how does a homeowner knows or learns about this without attending something like this?
Actually, that's a good question. And we previously would send out mailers to neighborhoods that are in the contour that's affected, the noise contour that's affected by the flight patterns. And I think we're reinstating that. But mostly now it's word of mouth, and it's going on the website to check it out. A lot of people have seen us in the neighborhood. We go out and we test homes with these great big speakers, and we blast aircraft noise at the residences to make sure they qualify. So at any time, if you see anybody with a Quieter Home Program shirt on, feel free to ask them a question. But I encourage you to go to the website and explore how to apply and hopefully participate.
Okay, so here's the question about the $18 million that the airport received on September 2020. And about the infrastructure grants, let's see. This is the largest amount that the airport has received. Can you elaborate on the details of the non-residential program to sound insulation noise incentive, like churches or schools? Will there be a separate solicitation related to this future non-residential QHP projects?
Actually, we're exploring non-residential projects at this time. As far as the categories go, schools are first in the category, and then it breaks down to qualifying structures accordingly. The 18 million that we received is basically an FAA grant for funding for this program, and it will be distributed as we see fit, whether it be non-residential or residential. But stay tuned. There is going to be some non-residential work that's going to be proceeding. So if you check our website and stay abreast of that, you might find some other than dealing with homeowner work out there that we can provide.
Great news. Thank you. And so we ran out of time, but I think we cover all the questions. And thank you both. And Christine, take over.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you so much, Maria, for that Q&A facilitation. Thank you again to Jack and Joshua, who have spent time in the preparation of this session and providing insight and valuable information to all businesses that have probably never heard about this great Quieter Home program that we have within our airport. This is our second to last day, day 4 of 5 days of Meet the Primes. We have one final session that will be occurring in 1 hour at 4 p.m. It will be our airport design and construction department to share on construction opportunities, our capital improvement program. There's always maintenance and rehabilitation that occurs on our campus. So please tune in the next hour, and then make sure you don't miss out on tomorrow's public agency and business support service sessions. We thank everyone, especially our support team, and we will see you in an hour. Take care, and thank you so much.